Hello everyone, welcome to the Kinetics and Swoosh English IELTS Writing Task 2 class today. We've got myself and Tanya. Tanya, are you there?
I'm here, Alex. Can you hear me?
I can, but I can't see you. You need to turn on your camera.
My camera's on and it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Wait, because what I'll do is I'll see if I can make you co-host, and that might be able to do it.
Okay, I'm right here waiting.
Okay, I've done it, Tanya. So you need to go bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, I've got that. There we go.
There you go.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Tanya Friedman calling in from Kinetics from a beautiful San Diego, California today. And we want to welcome you to our very second free IELTS class. We are very excited to welcome everybody today. And before we get started, I just want to have a 2-minute introduction because this class is not about Kinetics. This class is not about Swoosh. This class is about you. But a 2-minute background before we get started. So Kinetics is a recruitment company. We are not a staffing company. We specialize in direct hire and we have clients all over the US, acute care hospitals, nursing homes, rehab facilities, correctionals, surgery centers, many different facilities. And we're very excited about that for you. And many years ago, we've been doing this for a long time and we've seen how difficult this transition can be for so many of you. You've got to pass the NCLEX, you've got the IELTS, you've got the visa screen, you've got the green card. It's been so stressful. Retrogression, many years of long waiting lines, just the visa bulletin, just so many obstacles, so many hurdles. So for many years, we've looked for ways to try and help make this transition just a little bit easier for you. We came across Swoosh, which is really the most fantastic company, and they have agreed, which was very unusual, to do free IELTS classes for you, which was really exciting. Swoosh is a little different from most other IELTS companies. Most of the examiners are, most of the teachers, should I say, are ex-IELTS examiners. And you're going to meet Fiona shortly, and she is one of them. So that gives them a huge advantage because they're the people who used to test the nurses going through the IELTS. So they really know what to look for and how to help you through it. The other thing is that Swoosh is a UK company, and they are, therefore, as many of you know, the UK has a higher criteria in terms of the IELTS than the US does. So we knew that if Swoosh could be successful getting nurses through the IELTS in the UK, they would more than be successful in getting you through the IELTS for the US. So with that said, I want to hand you over to Alex, and then we're going to start the class. We are very excited, and I think you're going to really find this very helpful and very beneficial. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Tanya. And thanks for your introduction and all about how we're working together to help as many nurses as possible to achieve their American dream. So let me just welcome some of the people, some of the many people in the session today. And let's see who we've got. We've got Clary Bell, Brian, Essie, Mara, Paul Sill. Yeah, the class is starting now, Paul. So in a few minutes, we're going to invite our ex-IELTS examiner, Fiona, into the class. We've got, Joanne. The class is started now. Shabana, and that's another good point. So Shabana has shared the live class video. If you share the live class video today, so for step one, if you share it to your Facebook page so that other nurses can benefit from having an IELTS Writing Task 2 class with an ex-IELTS examiner. If you do that step one, and then step two, underneath this video, you say, you type, I have shared the IELTS live class video, you will get access to our completely free IELTS welcome pack that you've got lots of video resources, tips, lots of video lessons there to help you on your IELTS journey, helping you with reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So that's completely free, that you'll get that as long as you share today's Facebook Live IELTS Task 2 session. all about writing. Now, why are we doing writing today? Well, we put a post out there last week in the Lafora group saying to all of you, what is it that you're looking for? What kind of help do you need from us here at Swoosh and Kinetics? And we found from all of the answers, most people said writing, 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 writing. Everybody said writing. Now, we decided to go ahead and give you a free IELTS writing task 2 class. Task 2 is the one that students seem to struggle with even more so than task 1. So that's what we decided to do today. And like Tanya said, we are unique in the fact that all of our teachers are ex-IELTS examiners. So they marked thousands and thousands of students task 1 and task 2 writing over the years. And Fiona has been an examiner previously for many, many years. So she has seen the band 8 answers, the band 7s, but also the band 5s and band 4s. So I don't know where you are in that list of grades, but she will be the one to tell you where you're going wrong, what you're doing that's really good and what you're doing that's not so good, that's stopping you from getting the scores that you're looking for. And we all know that all the nurses right now who are looking to go to the USA and get a job with one of the many hospitals, like Tanya, for example, is placing you in, you need to get a 6.5 overall and a band score 7 in speaking. So the first class we did was about speaking, and this class today is going to be IELTS writing task 2. So that is going to be the subject of today's class. We've got lots of people saying I've shared the IELTS class video. So
good.
In order to get the IELTS welcome pack, like I said, you have to cover the 2 steps of actually sharing it to your page and also to actually write underneath, I have shared the IELTS live class video. Okay, fantastic. So we've got Ruby who shared it, Essie shared it, Jonah Lynn shared it, Rachel, Brian shared it, Mara, fantastic. Tabeth, hello, good to see you. Okay, Magati, nice to see you. Okay, fantastic. We've got lots of people. Paul Sill, yes, Alex, I'm here. Fantastic. So what we want to find out is, first of all, before we move on to bringing Fiona, our ex-IELTS examiner, into the class, I don't want these sessions to just be you listening to us and then as soon as the class is finished, you completely forgot about what we talked about. I want you to have a pen and paper handy so that you can write down notes and promise me that as soon as this class is finished, you will put the tips and the advice and the techniques and the strategies and the methodology all into practice in your task 2. So if you could so remember, you need to spend 40 minutes on task 2 in the real exam. So if you can go ahead, and many of you, especially the nurses in the Middle East right now who've got Fridays off, you should be able to do one of these task 2 essays as soon as this class has finished. Okay, so I want you to promise that you're going to put these tips and strategies into practice after the class is finished. Okay,
I've got my pen ready, Alex.
Tanya's got her pen ready. Fantastic.
I'm ready.
and she's already achieved her American dream, and she's still motivated to write down. So if and actually I don't know a lot of the nurses know, but Tanya's not American. She's South African, and then go on, Tanya.
Well, I actually am American. I'm a very proud American.
Now you are, but you weren't born.
I was born in South Africa. Let's clarify. So I've lived this journey. It's a very hard journey to come to the US. So we really can identify with you. And that's why we're so excited for today's class and can't wait to learn all the tips that Fiona is going to share with us.
Fantastic. So make sure you really say, yes, I promise underneath this video so that we know that you're going to take action, because we could just keep giving you these live classes every single week. But if you don't put the theory and the things that we're telling you into practice, then you will not improve your IELTS writing. So if for us to be giving these live classes, these free live classes to you, I want to get some commitment back from all of you as well. So Angeline, Tabeth, Bevi, Elaine, Kim, Asel, Jaisel, Arko, Arthadza, Neumann, Wei, all of you nurses who are watching right now, I want you to say, yes, you're going to put these things into action. So say, yes, I promise in the chat box underneath. Yes, I promise. We've got Luis, who's one of our admins of the Lafora group, who does a fantastic job. He's watching right now. He's preparing for his IELTS as well. So he's working very, very hard. Good to see you, Luis. Okay, we've got Arco say, yes, I promise. Puetso, fantastic. Mwenge, all sharing the video. Yes, I promise. Yes, I promise. Jonalyn, Elaine, fantastic. Okay, good. And we have also got Fiona, who's ready to come in and do the class today. Is everyone ready? Lots of people saying, yes, I promise.
Ready.
Brian, Jane, Alexis, Kim, Anne, Elaine, Puetso, Neumann. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to bring Fiona into the session. Let me know if anyone has ever been taught by an ex-IELTS examiner before, because you see a huge difference when you're taught by an ex-IELTS examiner compared to when you are being taught by another kind of teacher. Okay, you might have a teacher in your home country right now, but you'll see a big, big difference. So Fiona, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Hi, Fiona. How are you? Can you hear me?
Thanks. Yes.
Fantastic. I can't see you though. I think
it says that you have stopped my video.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Tanya. I've made you a co-host, so hopefully you can. Okay. Now I can see you.
Yes.
Now I can see you. Fantastic. So, nurses, we've got our UK ex-IELTS examiner here. We've got lots and lots of people watching. So, if for anyone who's not been taught by Fiona before, well, actually, first thing I should say is, if you came to the IELTS speaking class a few weeks ago, I think you didn't do that class, Fiona, did you? Was it Stephen?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Stephen, one of our other ex-IELTS examiners, he did the first IELTS speaking class. But let me know what you thought of the first IELTS speaking class in the chat box. Was it helpful? Was it beneficial to you? Please let other nurses know who did not come to that class what you thought of it, because so many of the nurses there, and Tanya can say the same, that they said, wow, amazing. My first time to be taught by an ex-IELTS examiner. I learned so much. So this class today, taught by Fiona, is going to be talking all about IELTS writing task 2. So Fiona, for anyone who's not familiar with you, can you just let them know about a little bit about your experience and how you can help them today?
Yes. Okay. So I've been teaching for a long, long time, about 20 years. And I've taught in many different parts of the world. And specifically, I've taught a lot of exam classes, and a lot of IELTS actually. IELTS is definitely my specialist subject. And yes, I have also been an IELTS examiner, and I'm looking forward to helping everyone with IELTS task 2, I believe we're doing today. Yes, exactly.
So Fiona's got 20 years experience with IELTS. So do you think that's beneficial for someone who's going to be teaching you today who's got 20 years experience? I want to see lots of yeses going in the chat box below. And also as well, Fiona, how many IELTS writing examinations do you think you've marked over the years? If you had to put an estimate on it.
I don't know. I mean,
thousands?
Possibly thousands, yes.
Thousands, okay. So Fiona's really able to pinpoint and identify the mistakes, the difficulties, the challenges that's stopping nurses from getting, that 6.57 in IELTS and even beyond. So we'll be able to pinpoint where you're going wrong, but you need to be as active as possible in today's class in order to make the most out of it. Lots of people saying yes. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to hand the class over to Fiona, who's going to tell you all about writing task 2. Please have your pens ready. Please be ready to take down notes. And the last thing is, make sure you share this video today. Like I said, we keep these classes completely free because we want to make a huge impact to nurses all over the world to help them to pass this IELTS examination so that they can achieve the American dream that they're looking for, whichever position you're going for in the United States. So please share it, and we'll give you access to our IELTS free welcome pack. So all you need to do is share the video to your page, step 1. Step 2 is to write underneath this video, I have shared the IELTS live class video. So I'm going to hand you over to Fiona.
Okay. Right, so let me just share my screen. Okay, so yes, you are probably familiar with this screen here. Hopefully you can see it. It's written quite small. Can everyone see that? Alex, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Maybe if you can zoom in a little bit at the top. Can you see
A bit
it?
blurred, isn't it? Yes.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you read, for example,
Yeah, as
what it
long as you
says?
can explain it to them, that should be okay, because some nurses might be looking on their phones. So yeah, don't
Yeah,
worry.
that's true. Exactly.
Don't worry.
Okay. Well, hopefully people can see it. It looks a little bit blurred to me. So yes, sorry about that. But generally, we're looking at the IELTS band score, the marking criteria. Yes, the writing band descriptors. So a lot of you will already be familiar with this. It's easily accessible on the internet. And today we're looking specifically at task 2. The writing descriptors, the band descriptors, are similar for task 1 and task 2, but actually this part of it, task achievement, is slightly different for both tasks, because task achievement asks you, well, it assesses your ability to answer the question. So, for example, here, addresses all parts of the task, presents a clear position. So this is basically the way that you've answered the question, the content. You know, have you included all the relevant information? Do you include an opinion? Is your opinion clear throughout the essay? Have you extended your ideas? So instead of just a list of ideas, have you said, okay, here is my point, and now I'm going to give some reasons and examples about that point. So if you look at a 7 here, it says, and this is task achievement, it says addresses all parts of the task, presents a clear opinion throughout the response. Okay, so not just right at the end, but it's clear what your position is throughout the response. Presents, extends, and supports main ideas, but there may be a tendency to overgeneralize, and or supporting ideas may lack focus. So basically, you're answering all the whole of the question. You're looking at both sides of the question, if it's a discuss both sides type question, and you're making some good relevant points, and you're extending those points and giving examples, and your opinion is clear. Okay, so that's a 7. Go down to a 5, and addresses the task only partially. So maybe you have to discuss both sides and you only discussed one side. So you have to be really careful. We're going to look at a strategy for doing that in a minute. And again, 5 says expresses a position, but the development is not always clear, and there may be no conclusions. Okay, so that's really what we need to do for task achievement. And then the second criteria, just very quickly, is coherence and cohesion. Most of you are looking, I'm sure, for a 7 or even an 8. So this coherence and cohesion is how you organize your ideas, how you organize your paragraphs, whether you have a topic sentence at the beginning of the paragraph that tells you exactly what will be in the whole of that paragraph, you know, and you have a clear topic in each paragraph, just one topic for each paragraph. So now 7 logically organizes information and ideas. There's a clear progression throughout. And it's all about also using linking devices like also, in addition, moreover, things like that to link your sentences together. And as you can see here, presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. Okay, so yeah, and then we obviously have grammar and vocabulary, which I won't go into too much detail on right now. I want to have a look at a question, but I do recommend that if you're looking for a certain score in IELTS, you really do need to be familiar with what you need to do to get that score, right? It's no good just saying, oh, I want a 7, and then just writing an essay and hoping you'll get a 7 or an 8. You know, you've got to actually understand what that means and what you need to do to get there. Okay, so let's have a look at a, oh no, hang on a second. Question. Okay, so here is a question, and there are various types of questions, but I'm going to ask you to read the question and tell me what type of question is it? Is it a discussion essay? Is it discuss both sides? Is it advantages, disadvantages? Is it problem solution? What kind is it? Okay, just read it well, maybe I should read it out to you actually. Scientists and the news media are presenting ever more evidence of climate change. Governments cannot be expected to solve this problem. It is the responsibility of individuals to change their lifestyles to prevent further damage. Okay. What are your views? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. Okay. So basically, we have a, what type of essay is this? Does anyone know? Or maybe, okay. If you can put your answers in the chat box. I don't know how many people are in the Zoom seminar. I don't know if Alex is there. Perhaps he can tell me. Okay, not getting any response. So, okay, basically this is a discussion essay. Okay, you have a background statement, right? Scientists and the news media are presenting ever more evidence of climate change. Okay, so that's not something you are expected to argue with. It's a fact. That's often the case in a task 2 question. And then here it says governments cannot be expected to solve this problem. It's up to individuals. So this is what we call a strong statement, and it's the one that you have to react to. Okay, so this is the background, the first sentence, and then we have the strong statements. Okay, governments, it can't just be governments. It shouldn't just be governments. It should be individuals who do this. Okay, and then it says, what are your views? Do you agree with this? Do you disagree? Do you partially agree? Okay, so it's a discussion question, but yeah, and you need to talk about both governments and individuals. So what I recommend that you do when you're in the exam, the first thing you do is read the question carefully and then take your pencil or your pen and underline keywords and phrases that you have to talk about, okay? So this would be a general background statement and you wouldn't spend too long talking about the first sentence, but then you would need to maybe underline the word governments, cannot solve problem. Okay, so you're just underlining keywords. Responsibility of individuals, prevent further damage, maybe also change their lifestyle. Okay, so you are now focusing on exactly which parts you have to answer. If you don't do that part, you might suffer later on. You might forget to include certain information. So you do have to talk about governments and individuals, even if you're saying why you think they shouldn't solve this problem. Okay. Right. So let's have a look at some points that you might be able to use. So having sort of done that, having underlined everything, you now have to come up with kind of a basic framework for your essay. And you have to think of some ideas that might go into each of the paragraphs, right? So here, actually, they've given you some ideas already. Which of the points below could you use to support your view on this subject? Okay, so for example, let's look at B. People could take fewer long distance holidays. Okay, so, you know, if you think that that might be something to support your own opinion, then, you know, that might be something you'd want to include. So perhaps have a look at all of these options, okay, and think of 3 or 4 that you might include in an essay that you were writing in this essay. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do that. And also think of 3 or 4 and then think of some ideas that will extend. So for example, people could take fewer long distance holidays. Okay, so how would you extend that point and what would that solve? So what would the effect be if people took fewer long distance holidays, for example? Yeah.
Fantastic, Fiona. So yes, make sure you take part in this exercise and you've got 5 minutes. Fiona, could you just repeat that once more, just so all of our nurses understand what they have to do? So by the way, I know this sounds crazy, everybody, but we're going to ask you to do something. We're going to ask you to do an exercise. So yeah, Fiona, if you could just repeat that once more.
Yeah, okay. So we have here some different points that you could use to support your view on the subject. So everyone might have a different view on the subject. That doesn't matter, okay? So you think about, what is your view on this subject? What do you think? Should it just be governments? Should it just be individuals? Should it be both? Which is also possible. Okay, and then you take 3 or 4 of these ideas and you think, okay, I could put those in my essay. Maybe where would you put them? Which side of your essay, which paragraph, but also how would you extend that idea? What reasons, examples, and effects would you give to extend each of those ideas, the 4 that you choose?
Fantastic,
Okay.
Fiona. So I will read out what kind of answers we're getting from our nurses here on the page, and then I'll just relate them back to you.
Okay.
So, few minutes, everybody. Cyrus Garay says carbon footprint reduction. So for everyone watched, sorry, go on, Fiona.
I'm not sure which point that is supporting,
yeah,
to be honest.
Exactly.
I think
see that myself.
He needs to say, okay, A, and then, maybe add carbon footprint. So maybe that was for B. People could take fewer longer distance holidays. And then the effect would be carbon footprint reduction. So,
yeah. So yeah, everybody, Vich, Nuruddin, Cyrus, Richard, Poetso, Presi Khalil, everyone watching right now, please make sure you take part in this exercise. And over the next few minutes, if you can write your ideas in the message box below, and then we can relate them back to Fiona. So this is a really good opportunity for you to get as much practice as possible. And just use the letter as well, which point that you're relating to. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Okay, everyone, so we'll give you a couple more minutes. Okay, and in the meantime, if you've not shared today's IELTS Writing Task 2 free class, and you want to get access to our free IELTS welcome pack with lots of video resources, tips, strategies on how you can pass IELTS in all 4 areas, then make sure you share this video to your Facebook page, step 1, and then step 2, right underneath this video, I have shared the IELTS live class video, and then we will send you our IELTS welcome pack completely free. Okay, so we're getting, Miriam said C, carbon emission is reduced. Okay, so yeah, that point before about the carbon footprint could relate to C as well.
Yeah, it could relate to quite a few. Perhaps people could also give, examples and more specific effects than just carbon footprint, which is obviously a good thing, but
Yeah, so please give specific examples, everyone. Yeah, Victoria H, carbon emission will reduce. Air pollution, carbon emissions, Presi Kalal says.
Maybe they could also say which part of the question. So perhaps, for example, people could take fewer long distance holidays. That would support individuals. So maybe you could also write BI, individuals. Greener modes of transport should be promoted. That would be CG for governments, right? Governments promoting that. If you can do that, that would be good as well.
Okay, so we've got Jodalyn. Jodalyn said C, for instance, using a bicycle for transportation, or maybe more apt to walk rather than use cars in short distance.
That's really good.
Yeah. Okay. Cyrus said it should be a shared responsibility between governments and individuals. Rivimbo says F, better waste disposal methods. Alexis E, promotion of the benefits in the utilization of solar energy on houses.
For E, yes. Can you read that again, Alex? Sorry.
Yeah. Alexis said promotion of the benefits in the utilization of solar energy on houses.
Individuals should ensure that their houses or flats are energy efficient. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, solar energy is huge right now. What else?
Yes.
Zil says green products, hybrid cars. Okay, 1 minute left, everybody, and then we will. Fiona will give her thoughts on this. So the more you take part, the more you're going to get out of today's class. So please give us your ideas. We've got over 120 people or so watching right now. So I'd love to see all 120 people take part in this exercise, especially if you've never been taught by an ex-IELTS examiner before. This is a really good opportunity for you. Okay, Fiona, I think we can go through them now.
Yeah, okay, good. So yes, so we had some really good ideas there. The point is that you should be, obviously in the exam, you're not going to get these ideas, but you should be brainstorming ideas. You should be, for example, one person said that they would take a balanced view, and I probably would too. I think a lot of people would. It's not just governments, it's not just individuals. So when you write your paragraph plan, perhaps you could have one paragraph for governments and then brainstorm some of these ideas and put them in that paragraph. And then you should have one paragraph for individuals and again, brainstorm some of these ideas and put, some of your ideas and make notes under individuals. So yes, those were some really good ideas that you had. And each of these is 1 point, as we mentioned. So people could take fewer long distance holidays, as we took as an example, and then somebody said this would reduce the carbon footprint. Yes, so that would be in terms of individuals, what individuals could do. Perhaps you could also say how that might be implemented, how you might get people to do that. Maybe that's, governments who would suggest that people do that or give them incentives somehow. I don't know if anyone watching would think, oh yes, great, I'm going to take fewer long distance holidays. I'm not going to get on any planes anymore. So some of these ideas might not be that easy to implement. So you've got to kind of think about that as well, I guess. But certainly a lot of them are valid. I think this one possibly is a bit strange these days. The scientific evidence for climate change is unreliable and should not be believed, although some scientists do think that. There's no point in looking for a solution to this problem. It's already too late. Interesting, okay. Hopefully people don't think that, but obviously you are entitled to your opinion. And as long as you support it and justify it, the examiner, as long as it's a valid opinion, they don't have to agree with it, right? So well done, everybody. We had some really nice ideas there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to show you a model answer to this question now that you've thought about it a bit. But the model answer is not in the correct order. The paragraphs are not in the correct order. So I'd like you to read the paragraphs. You have to read them quite carefully. Don't just look at the first part of the paragraph and try to guess, okay? I'd like you to read the whole answer because I'm going to ask you some questions about it as well. So later. So put the paragraphs in order, but also try to get an idea, try to kind of skim read the paragraphs as well as much as possible, okay? So here is the model answer, but as I said, it's in the wrong order. Okay, So can you put it in the right order and then post your ideas once you've done the whole thing? So which is the first one? Which number is the first one? Which is the second one, etc. Okay, so everybody, you should try and participate in this.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you've got, remember everyone, you've got 6 paragraphs here. You need to put them in the right order. So see what clues you can take from these in helping you to decide which order they go in. So like Fiona says, we want everyone to try this. Everyone, Blessy, Erica, Alan, Cyrus, Samir, all of the 100 and odd people we've got watching right now, please take part and please tell us what number, which paragraphs go into which order.
Okay, actually, just to make sure that people are reading, what's the writer's position, what are his or her main arguments, and what examples are given to support these arguments. So just an idea also, so you really make sure you understand the meaning as well as putting them in the right order.
That's very important. Okay, everyone, who's going to be the first person to give us an answer? We're waiting for the first person to give us an answer, so let us know in the chat box. Fiona, we've got lots of answers coming through. Zil, Arthadze, Francis, Presikalal, Noel, Sil, Mwenge, Alexis, Kim Ann, lots and lots of people. Maybe another minute or so, Fiona?
Yes, great. Just so that they can also read the paragraphs, you know, just make sure that they...
Yeah. For example, I can imagine some people might just look at secondly and firstly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So that's really important. Don't just look at keywords, for example, read the whole thing, because you can see the questions underneath. What is the writer's position? What are his or her main arguments? What concrete examples are given to support these arguments? These are really important questions to consider and address. In the meantime, sorry, Fiona, yeah?
Yeah, I said exactly, yes.
Yeah. So we've got 30 seconds or so before Fiona reveals the answers. Please make sure you continue to share this Facebook Live video to your page, your Facebook page, so that you can get access to our free IELTS welcome pack. We want everyone in the session today to get access to this welcome pack that's got lots of video courses, materials, because there's so many IELTS resources out there. Some are good and some are not so good. So we want to make sure you get good quality materials from us that have been put together by ex-IELTS examiners like Fiona. And let me know in the chat box when you shared the live class video as well. Okay, Fiona, I think we've had lots of answers, so
yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Yes. Okay. So, what was one of the answers? Just the order.
Everyone's 621453. So the first one, number 6.
Yes.
2,
okay.
yeah.
So 621453 isn't quite right. Almost. So hopefully some people got something different.
Yeah, we've had a few different responses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start. But 6 is correct. So recently, scientists worried about climate change have urged governments to introduce measures to reduce. So this is paraphrasing. This is the introduction, paraphrasing the background statement. Simultaneously, politicians and environmental. I shall argue that governments and individuals should take joint responsibility for this problem. This is the introduction, and it's good because it gives the background statement. It starts to talk about the issue, and it says, "This is what I think." Okay, so that's really important, that they should, and this person thinks they should take joint responsibility. Okay. Next one is number 2. Firstly, industry accounts for a large proportion of greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, and this can be controlled by government action. And then it's talking about what can be done. Okay, what governments can do, businesses, etc. Okay, so firstly, pretty easy that comes after the introduction. And then, of course, secondly, and this one, again, this paragraph again is talking about what governments can do. And it's the Kyoto, not the Kyoto Agreement, for example. And then it talks about what they did. So it gives examples and effects. With such cooperation, it seems to me that efforts to reduce fuel consumption are unlikely to be effective. Then here, number 5. However, national and international policies will only succeed if individuals also change their lifestyles. So number 2, paragraph 2 and paragraph 1 were about governments. And then we've got a change, okay? However, so often if we're talking about the other side, we put however as a new paragraph, or on the other hand, national and international policies will only succeed if individuals, so now it's talking about individuals, also change their lifestyle. It's giving examples of what people can do, okay? And then here, in addition, so this paragraph is adding a point to this paragraph. I think individual attitudes to transport need to change. Instead of making short trips by car, people could choose to walk, cycle, or take a bus. Okay, so it's saying what individuals could do and how, and that changing our behavior would have a major impact. So that's the effect. So you see they're making points and then they're extending them really nicely, okay? And then, and then of course 3 in conclusion, I would say that only a combination of international agreements, national policies, and changes in individual behavior will succeed in preventing further damage to the environment. So this is the conclusion, and it's really nice because it's not saying, again, what we said in the rest of the essay, which is what some people try to do. They try to summarize all the points that they made, and that's just not possible. It's not a good idea. So you need to basically paraphrase what you said in the introduction. Yeah, so you restate your opinion, only a combination. Yeah. So that is the final paragraph. So you'll notice probably a lot of you are probably thinking, wow, 6 paragraphs. And a lot of people think that, you know, there should be a set number of paragraphs. And quite often there is. I don't know if you guys, no, there isn't a set number of paragraphs, I shouldn't say that, but on average, I would say there's probably 4 paragraphs. But this person has 6 and they are not going to be punished for it. But I might change this and write it in 4 paragraphs. I wonder if anyone can say which paragraphs could be joined. Which ones could be joined together? Obviously not the introduction and not the conclusion, but the 4 body paragraphs possibly could be joined into 2 paragraphs. What would be the central topic of each of those 2 paragraphs? Maybe people could write that in the chat box or write it on the Facebook live comments, which I can't see, so hopefully Alex is going to come in and
Just looking at them now, Fiona.
Great. Okay, thanks. So yeah, basically, yeah, which of the 4 body paragraphs could be joined together? So maybe just write two numbers. Paragraph 2 and then 2 numbers, and paragraph 3, 2 numbers. Does that make sense? Or not really?
Mario said 214.
2, okay.
Athadza said 2 and 1 joined together, and 5 with 4.
Ah, that's on the money.
Cyrus said 4 and 5. Alexis said 214.
I think the people who said 2 and 1 and then 5 and 4 are correct, because 2 and 1 talk about governments, industry, what they can do, and then 5 and 4 talk about individuals and what they can do. Yes?
So congratulations to Angeline, Cyrus and Athadza, who all gave that answer.
Yeah.
And Wengi as well.
Okay.
Fantastic, well done.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I don't think, yeah. So what is the writer's position, and what are his or her, well, we won't go through what are his or her main arguments. I think we can see those, but also I think we can see that the writer's position is very clear, and it's clear throughout the essay, and it's basically that it's not just individuals, it's not just governments, it's both, yeah? So make it clear from the start. People often ask me, you know, should I give my opinion in an IELTS essay? And I say, yes, absolutely, and give it from the start. Whatever kind of essay you're writing, whether it's a discussion, whether it's advantages and disadvantages, you know, I think making your opinion clear throughout the essay is a really good idea, and it really helps the examiner to see where you're going when they're marking it. Just makes their job easier. Okay. So let's have a look at the full answer. Okay, this is in the correct order. And now I'm actually going to give you, just a second, sorry, 1 second. No, we don't want to do that one. I'm going to give you another little task to do while you're reading this. Okay, what I'd like you to do is to say what kinds of linking words and phrases are used, because those are really important to link your ideas together. So, for example, one obvious one is firstly, okay? But maybe in the previous paragraph, you could find a linking word or phrase which links 2 ideas or sentences together. So perhaps you could write, for example, paragraph 2, firstly, and then the other linking words and phrases that are in paragraph 2, and then paragraph 3, paragraph 4, like this. Okay? So everyone, give it a go. See what you can do. It's much better if you're trying to answer the questions yourselves and not just me telling you what to do. Okay? So I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes to do that, and let's see what you can come up with.
Thanks, Fiona. So, yeah, you've got 4 to 5 minutes to do this exercise. And yeah, Pusetso, you also got the correct answer. 2 and 1 and 4 and 5 together. As well as Christine and Ajinkya and Sil Paul and Feli as well. Let us know if you're learning a lot so far from this session. Okay, let me know, how is it beneficial to you? Let us know in the comment section below. Whilst we're waiting for people to put their answers in to the exercise, Fiona, we've got a question from Cyrus Garay. He said, "It's not true that there are I think he's trying to say, is it true that there are statements where you need to agree or disagree. Task 2 will generally depend on your own opinion or views. Is that correct? In a previous review center, we were told that we had to always disagree in a certain statement.
No. I don't know who told
Yeah.
that person, but you can't say you have to disagree. I mean, it's your opinion that you'll
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, we're always told to disagree. But yeah, I mean, if you've got to, as Fiona said, you should be giving your opinion. You can't just disagree if you actually agree with it.
Yes. I think people think that it's some kind of scientific formula, and unfortunately it just isn't. You just got to look at that particular question and think, do I agree with it? Do I disagree with it? Why? And come up with ideas. I mean, there is a certain type of essay where you have to discuss both sides and give your opinion. So in that case, you have to talk about why you disagree with one side. So you have to think about why that side is against the idea, or why that side is saying the opposite to what you're saying, and then say why you disagree with it. So maybe that's kind of what he means. I don't know. Yeah,
it's like, for example, if you had a task 2 question like, do you agree? Do you agree that eating meat is bad? Because you'll always have your opinion on this. So if you go and say, give the opposite opinion of what you believe, then it's just a bit strange, because it's kind of like you're effectively lying.
Yeah.
Just so that you can disagree.
And it's difficult to argue. It's difficult to argue something that you don't believe in, I think, as well.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a bit. It feels incongruent.
Yes.
With who you are. Anyway, so we've got some answers coming through. We've got Miriam, who said secondly, however, for example, in addition, in conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
We got Feli, who said firstly, such as, alternatively. Arthadza, recently, simultaneously, firstly, alternatively, however, for example.
Nice.
And Wengi, secondly, on the other hand, however, in addition. Feli, however, for example.
Yeah, great. I think that's fantastic. And another thing that I'd like to point out as well to you guys is that, we don't use linking devices in every single sentence. So here, and that's something that you might get penalized for. Some people think, oh, I have to have a linking device before each sentence. And it sounds actually very unnatural if you do that. If you look at a native speaker's writing, for example, this writing, there isn't a linking device between, to start each sentence. So, for example, here it says firstly, and then it talks about industry. And then it extends that point. It says measures could be taken to discourage pollution, such as blah, blah, blah. And then there's a linking phrase, alternatively, okay? And then alternatively, subsidies could be offered to industries to clean up their production processes. And then there's an effect of this, if these ideas were adopted, I believe. So you've got one here, and then you haven't got one in the next sentence. Yes, here, no, here. Do you see what I mean? It's not one and then a sentence, one linking device, a sentence, one linking device. Otherwise, that sounds very, very mechanical and unnatural, okay? Yeah, so great, though. Everyone had some good ideas there.
Well done, everyone, for taking part.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, one final thing I think we could look at, when you do see a model answer and it's clearly written by a native speaker, there are some that are not and are not very good. So you have to make sure you get a good one. But if you do look at a model answer that is good, one thing you can also do is look for vocabulary and collocation that will help you in your essays. For example, here the topic is pollution, the environment, so that's a big topic. And, there are words and phrases that are, very well written here, very advanced. For example, the greenhouse gas emissions. So that could be something that you write down in your notebook, or, you know, under the topic of environment, and you're just basically building up a resource for vocabulary to really impress the examiners. You know, also things like a large proportion of accounts for, so I don't know if, I'm sure you've heard of collocation. I'm sure you guys have, some of you have been studying IELTS for a long time, but anyway, collocation is when, you know, words, we don't just teach individual words, we teach words together, okay? So you don't just teach account to account, you teach to account for, okay? You don't just learn, well, let's see, measures. Usually you would talk about taking measures, so to take measures to do something. So it's all about which words naturally and often go together in English. And it, I mean, it's really style, I guess. It sort of means style, and it's something you have and you do naturally in your own languages. You just don't realize it. Yeah, in English you have to, it's not so automatic, I guess. Another example would be discussion between, yes? You wouldn't write governments, because it could be discussion between whoever, different parties, but to reach agreement, to reach global agreement, or to reach an agreement, yes, on something, okay? So it's a really rich source of vocabulary and collocation. Perhaps you would like to put some good expressions and collocations in to the comments on Facebook. Okay, so if everyone can look at this, read this, and see if you can find some really good collocations that you could use in your next essay. Okay, so hopefully everyone is trying to do that right now.
Let's see what we've got coming through on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
We also had from Hamid previously, simultaneously, firstly, alternatively, however, for example, in addition, since, in conclusion.
Yeah, good. Since is a good one, actually, because it's joining two clauses within a sentence. Yeah.
So how long have they got, Fiona?
Oh, let's say another 3 minutes, something
3
like
minutes?
that.
Yeah. Okay, you're doing really well, everyone. Coming towards the end of the class, but please participate in this exercise so you can get really as much out of this class as possible.
How are we doing? Has anyone given any answers?
Let's see who we've got. Stephanie Wu says lifestyle changes.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, only one so far.
Really?
We want you all to participate as much as possible. Ajinkya,